Early in my career, I ran my first one-on-ones exactly the way I thought a manager was supposed to. I opened my notebook, I asked about the project, got schedule status, reiterated expectations, and then maybe asked what I could do to help. It was nice, it was professional, but completely wrong. In this video, I'll show you what I got wrong and how I do it better. Welcome to the Honest Leadership series, where we talk about how to become better, more honest leaders in a world that's filled with the opposite. My promise to you is to give you simple actions that you can really take, a plan for tomorrow, not just some theory to admire. So if that sounds good to you, please go ahead and subscribe. And if this episode helps you in any way, please drop a like before you go. I promised to tell you what I got wrong, and here it is. I treated that first one-on-one like it was about the work, and it's really not. It's a meeting about the person doing the work. Your first instinct walking into that meeting might be to treat it like every other meeting on your calendar. You have an agenda, you get a few updates, maybe a project status or two. It feels productive and it feels like leadership, but it's really not. And here's why. Every other meeting you're going to have with this person is going to be about the work. This one, though, is really just about them. Their goals, how they like to work, what's been frustrating them lately, what they actually need from you as their manager, as opposed to what the org chart says they get. If you skip that and jump straight to tasks, you're telling them something whether you mean it or not, that you see them as a resource and not as a person, and they're gonna feel that. So the first thing to get right is simple. This meeting exists to learn who they are, not really what they're working on. And here's the cost of not getting that right. That employee walks out of a room having learned exactly nothing new about you, having told you nothing new about themselves, and you spent 30 minutes really just confirming that you're their boss. And you could have gotten all of that from a simple email. In that first one-on-one, you should be talking 20% of the time. They should be filling the other 80%. That might feel uncomfortable at first if you're used to running meetings, but your job in this one isn't to run it. It's to open doors for them to share and then just get out of the way. You can ask questions, of course, but let it breathe. Resist the urge to fill silence with your own opinions or address concerns. If you're doing most of the talking in that first one-on-one, that's not really leadership. That's kind of just a monologue with an audience of one. So what fills the other 80%? Well, here's a few places worth going, and you don't need to hit all of these in one sitting. Just read the room and pick a few that fit. One could be their career goals, where they want to be in a year or 5 years, or whether this role is a stepping stone or a destination for them. You could ask them about their work style. How do they like to receive feedback? How are they working with their peers? Or maybe what's been frustrating them lately, especially anything that's left over from before you got there. Old frustrations don't disappear when the manager changes. They just kind of go quiet, waiting to see if you're going to be different. And don't be afraid to ask about them outside of work too, not as an interrogation, just enough to remember that they're a whole person and not just a head count. You don't need a script for this. You just need some curiosity and some discipline to stay quiet after you ask. Here's a small but really important detail. You don't need to take visible notes through the whole conversation. This is not some interview. But when something does come up that actually needs your attention or you need to act on, maybe a concern or something that you need to go look into and then get back with them, make sure to write that down and do it right there in front of them. That one small move does two things. It tells them that you're actually listening and not just waiting on your turn to talk. And it sets up the moment that actually matters the most, which is what happens after the meeting ends. The success of that one-on-one is measured just as much by what happens after as what happened during. If they told you something, maybe a concern or a preference, a request, and you do nothing with it, you haven't just wasted their time. You've made things worse than if you never asked at all, because now they know you ask questions and don't do anything with it. And that lesson will stick. The next time you ask, they're just going to tell you less. A broken follow-up is worse than no meeting at all. Say what you will do and then go do that, even if it's small, especially if it's small. Small but kept promises are how trust actually gets built over time with one interaction at a time. When the conversation starts to wind down, don't just end it and move on to scheduling the next one. Ask them directly, what do you want these meetings to look like going forward? That single question does something most new managers never really think to do. It hands ownership of that relationship back to them. It tells them that this isn't a box that you're just checking. It's a conversation that they get to shape. And from then on, let them control most of the cadence and topics for the next one-on-ones. That takes the mental load off of you, but also gives them the space and the authority to bring things to you without you having to ask or set up a meeting. If you take these steps in your next one-on-one, I promise you will start building a significant amount of trust and respect with your team. And you're going to know much more about how your team works, what's working with your team members and what's not. All of the stuff that we talked about at the beginning, like agendas, expectations, status updates, all that's going to take care of itself with all the other interactions that you have with them. So you have your plan for your next one-on-one. I sincerely hope this helps you, and if it did, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more content just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in the next one.